Welcome to RELaunch Live Podcast. RELaunch Live Podcast. Talking all things real estate, the strategies that build it, and sharing their own life-changing growth plans. They are two of the most dynamic people in the business with one common goal: to make you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Welcome to the RELaunch Live Podcast with your hosts, Veronica Figueroa and Jeff Lobb.
Hey, welcome everybody. Back again. RELaunch Live Podcast, making you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired. And I couldn't be more thrilled to have Veronica back.
Hey guys, I'm super excited. I guess we'll call this the Cabo edition.
Cabo edition, yes.
Coming to you live from Cabo. We just wrapped up an amazing conference, and you know what I love about it is you hold me accountable. Here we are, RELaunch Live, and it's actually one of the things that I look forward to most because I get to meet with dear friends of mine who have inspired me along the way, and this one is no different. Obviously, someone that has tons of experience in the business, and it's I would say, not to sound cliche, right? Or no pun intended. It's like she runs the Experience Realty group. Kathy Helbig, someone that you and I both know for many years, right? In the Inman space and the Zillow worlds, and just kind of like the conference world of real estate. So when we think about the people that we want to bring on here, it's people that really can bring value to the community and just who, like I said, personally have inspired me to just think big. And, Kathy, welcome. Thank you so much for always being an inspiration to me. What a lot of people don't know is like you've kind of coached me for quite a few years now, like on different things, business, ancillary services, marriage advice, all of the above, being a woman in leadership. But you just have all this amazing experience, but it's all about giving people a wonderful experience. So thank you for being here. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Love to be here. Wish I was actually in Cabo with you right now, but this is the next thing.
Me too.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to have to plan something up here.
I'm with you, Kath. We got to plan this trip better.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, Kathy, just for those who are listening in, tell them a little bit about you and kind of like what does it mean to be an experience, but a little bit backstory of you and share some insight.
Sure. Well, backstory of me, I've been in the real estate industry for 25 years. I actually got into sales very early on as one of the very few females in automobile sales when I was like 19 years old. So I cut my teeth on hardcore sales habits and people-to-people relationships, and that eventually evolved into outside sales, and then eventually got into real estate because I was married, having children, had my first child, stayed home with him for about 1.5 years. And then some broker came and said, you really should be in real estate. You'd be awesome. And you can work 15 hours a week and make a ton of money. That's what I was told.
That is somehow, right? That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me do that. So jumped into real estate school and, just thought I was going to go be part-time. I had my second baby was cooking in the oven, and I think I was part-time all of about a week. And it was 1997, and real estate was just starting to really crank again after interest rates had kind of come back down after the crazy interest rate hikes back in the 80s. And I haven't looked back. I just didn't know what I didn't know. So I put my head down, had a kid on my hip, had a kid on the breast, and just went full steam ahead. And next thing I know, after about a year in the business, I realized that I had so much business that I was losing people between the cracks. So this was pre-team days when people did teams in real estate, unless you were a husband and wife for the most part. But I just figured, there were these two ladies in my office and they were so nice. And so, I'm just going to see if they want to talk about maybe just partnering. So we kind of threw everything in the pot. We jumped into doing this team model, which we didn't know any idea of what we were doing, but that was the beginning of my fast growth. Wow. So fast forward a couple of years, now Realtor.com comes to the scene. I'm pre-internet age, So real estate came to the scene on internet. That changed everything. I dove headfirst into internet marketing, and then really just catapulted in leaps and bounds from the competition, because A, I was doing a team model, and B, I was getting rid of, just print and newspaper and really embracing internet marketing early on before everybody else did.
Yeah.
So then I just grew a team over those years, did everything wrong, failed a million times, spent way too much money, restarted, recreated myself. I don't know how many times we've recreated ourselves in the brand and the name and the tagline and the colors and all that stuff, but eventually found a groove with a good team running, and then finally came to the point where a light bulb went on. And this is where my final brand change kind of came into place, the experience. And what was happening is, over the years, as we kept doing a lot of business, I really was feeling the disrespect that people have for agents and for our industry. And it pained me, because I can take it for myself, but when I would see people disrespect my team members, and I would see people, expect them to work for free without any commitments, and then run them around for 3 months, and they go, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you my mom's a realtor and she's going to write the contract, just day after day of seeing that type of thing happen in our industry, it really started to light a fire in me. And I was trying to figure out how do we show our value to people, because they don't see it. And that's why we're disrespected. And part of that reason is our own fault in this industry, because we don't have enough training. We do just, they let people into real estate school. And in some areas, it's 20 something hours of real estate school and you're a realtor. In our area, it's 48. You pass a test, and then, you just throw them out there to learn on the consumer. So of course the consumer was having not great real estate experiences. So that's when it kind of all just flashed before my eyes. And I said, aha, here's the problem. We've created it, and we meaning the industry, kind of deserve to have some of the pushback from consumers. So how are we going to change it? We're going to change it one experience at a time. So that was my first thought. So we kind of changed the name, going from the Kathy Helbig Group or everything else we were before to the experience. Expect to be moved, because that's my goal moving forward, is to change how people look at us, because we give them such a great experience that they do value us moving forward.
Oh, so good. I got chills just thinking about that.
But that wasn't so simple, because I hadn't thought about yet, how do you change the experience? I can change it because I know what to do, but now I'm growing team members. And then I got into a Keller Williams franchise. So I was an owner of a Keller Williams franchise at this time that all these epiphanies are coming to me, because I was seeing we had 240 agents, and the majority of them were not successful agents. The majority of them were selling 2 to 6, 7 houses a year. And you don't get proficient on something when you're not doing it repeatedly. So that was kind of where I really got behind the scenes and thought, okay, my idea sounds great, but how am I going to get there? Well, I had to take a step back and said, all right, for us to make the consumer experience better, starts with the agent experience. That was the little piece that didn't come to me first. So we got to change the agent experience of just go to school, take a test, throw them against the wall. A few of them are going to stick. The rest of them are going to leave. The ones that stick are learning on their deals themselves, or they're learning from peers who are not necessarily taught right either. So we got to really back this up, and we got to start thinking about finding the right people that are willing to learn, willing to be coached, willing to be mentored, and really, really hone that team model. Because before I was a haphazard team. Oh, I like you. Oh, you need a job? You should come work for me. That type of thing. And so that was the big change, and the aha moment in my real estate career was probably back in about 2010, 12, something like that. So that's what we did. We reset everything. We changed how we did things. We brought everyone in on a team model. Everyone was coached and mentored by me, and then the management that I grew up. And then we eventually said, I think we need a change, and we went independent. So then we had that whole ride. That's the next chapter.
I love that. It's just when you're talking about the experience and how people were laughed at times in this industry, kind of took me back to like imagining the guy who told you should get a real estate license and you only work 15 hours and you make a lot of money, right? Well, number one, like oftentimes it's a joke because of how the people represent our industry amongst each other, right?
Exactly.
And it was the person who told me to get into real estate. He was like, you should get your real estate license, sell timeshare, and you're going to be rich, and I was like, are you kidding me? And then I took the class. He never passed at the time. And I absolutely hated timeshare. It wasn't for me at the time. I ended up going into human resources for the hospitality industry, but I watched and I observed some of the things that they did really well, but I knew it wasn't for me. And I was committed to give people, like a really great experience as well. And that's where the trust came in and the referrals came in, and people just, kept on referring us. Very similar to you, but I was like, wait, where's this gig that it was going to be like work 15 hours and like,
exactly.
Now and I'm in a completely different world, but like, no, this is an industry where you do have to work hard.
You
and
do.
people are trusting you with something that is the most important thing that they will ever purchase, their home, where they'll raise their family, where they'll build their wealth,
and it's surrounded by emotions.
Yes.
Like it's the biggest expense and biggest asset that you're buying and selling. And then in addition to it, it's racked with emotions by a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched base on that. And Jeff, I know you're always full of just great direct questions. And before you throw out your amazing next question that I'm sure you're going to have, is I want to just applaud you for number one, you said it. You have reinvented yourself in multiple markets. So anyone who's listening should be inspired by her, because you don't always have to have it figured out, and you can pivot. You can pivot. And Kathy is a perfect example of someone pre-internet, and then you heard her talk about then when the online lead gen came into the game, and she pivoted there, and she was already building a team when teams weren't really a common theme to build. So I'm sure you made a lot of mistakes there.
Right.
But, it's okay for you to pivot and reinvent yourself and change your brand and realize that aha moment or that light bulb turned on. So thank you for addressing that and letting people who are listening know that they may find themselves having to reinvent themselves in this next chapter of real estate that we're facing, which Jeff, I'm sure you could probably touch a little bit about, but I'm sure you got a question. What you got, brother?
No, I'm just, we walked in the same shoes for, many time zones there of the era you came through pre-internet. And when you said, it hit me right between the eyes too, is when you said, I had a lot of leads falling through the cracks and I was just not able to keep up, and there was no team structure. And I remember going through that battle myself, trying to figure out like and you probably face this too, is like chicken or the egg. Who do you hire first? A buyer's agent? Do I want an admin? Do I want to spend money on a salary when I'm not sure if I could pay it? Exactly. All those early days of trying to figure out what first, and then you just kind of force through it. And you make it. But I found an email from you.
I was going to say
from 2013.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there racking my brains trying to figure out, okay, it was something about we shared notes, and I'm trying to think about where it was from, because that's just how far back some things go, like where we initially connected. I don't know if it was an Inman or if it was somewhere. But we exchanged notes on something. Do you remember?
We've been around each other at Inman and exchanged notes, but it might have been Swanepoel.
Oh, a T3.
I think it might have been the very first T3.
T3 at Swanepoel, yes.
Wow,
yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I found it. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it goes back to 2013.
Yeah.
You and I exchanged
We're old.
I know, trust me.
I got chills thinking about it, guys. I got chills thinking about it. All right, so I have a question. Well, you guys go back to the moment you guys met. I'm going to go back to a couple of things that you said. And first of all, I remember when we met, of course, it was Zillow World. And I remember Steve proposed at one of the, what's it at, La Cantera?
Oh, it was Vegas.
One of the many Vegas events that we've been to. And I just feel like we've become family over the years. But, I have a question in regards to the industry that we're in. As you said, you've had to pivot. I need to know about this TikTok game that you're on.
I was gonna get there. I'm glad you brought that up.
I need to know, like, in this new era of pivoting,
Yes.
I was at this conference and this amazing agent named Liz Brown, which, by the way, we got to bring her on. She is fire. She was talking to everybody. She's like, I just TikTok. She was like, I just get my clients on TikTok and I just recruit on TikTok. And she's like talking about how she does everything TikTok. And I'm like, listen, I have watched Kathy Helbig over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months go from Kathy Helbig to Kathy Helbig, the TikTok superstar.
Yeah, please. We were knocking some out yesterday in the family room.
I love it. And, you know, the reason I wanted to touch base on it was, we talked about pivoting, right? Because we could talk about what we did, 10 years ago, but let's talk about what we're doing today. How are we getting your agents that don't have enough leads falling through the cracks to generate leads, right? But you're leading by example, saying, hey, you're pivoting again.
Yes.
You're being on video, you're on social, you're creating a presence of authenticity. You're teaching agents how to generate business, but like, what clicked on you? Because you were a little shy on video for a little while.
Yes, I would do a video here and there, industry related. I could get out and talk about what's happening in the pandemic and market stats and all that stuff, because I can rattle that off very easily. But I did struggle with TikTok because, us old fogies, when that came out, it was a kid app, it was everybody dancing. And I'm just really careful and I'm reserved because I have had a brand that's very respected over the years. And I didn't want to cross the line of sexy and dancing and, sexualizing women to sell real estate. And that kind of stuff was just kind of, rubbing me a little crazy.
Too seriously, right? Or not being taken too serious.
Yeah. And like, who's really going to see it? Kids? They're not buying a house, So I kind of went into it with that attitude. And then the pandemic hit and we're all stuck at home and my kids are TikToking and they're like, Mom, you got to do this TikTok dance with us. And it was like a week's workout, I swear, to learn this dance, first of all. But I mustered through it and we did it and it was fun. And a bunch of people were like, oh my gosh, Kathy Helbig did a little dance. It was like, wow, that's a whole different personality that we're not used to seeing because I'm cool and collected and professional, most of the time. They know Billboard Kathy. They don't know,
TikTok Kathy.
Exactly. I didn't know TikTok Kathy necessarily.
I love that. I love that.
Publicly, I did it.
Yeah, you created TikTok Kathy.
Yeah, so that was the first little dip my toe into it. And I was like, man, these dances are way too hard, so forget about it. So then I moved on. But then I did a couple of other videos and things of just like, we're all stuck at home. Like, what's everybody doing for their nails right now? So here's what I found for my nails, and just kind of did that type of thing and just product, like what's my best product for this or that. And I had so many people tell me later, hey, I wouldn't admit it to most people, but that thing you put up, like you do with your face, like I went and bought one immediately. And I would have all these people tell me that. So I'm like, people are watching no matter what the content is. So again, fast forward a little bit more and I hire a girl that's in her 30s and she obviously is that younger generation and she TikToks, but she was pretty reserved and quiet too. So she didn't really tell me that she had this TikTok account. She didn't tell me that she had a YouTube account that had 18,000 subscribers on talking about one tiny little niche subject. So one day it came up and I'm like, what? Why am I just finding this out? And why are we not doing this for me? So that became kicking it up the next level. We started really looking at it and just kind of putting some things out there and having fun with it. So Mythbusters and things about us, because again, there's Persona Kathy and our team, and then there's the truth. So we started using TikTok as a fun, entertaining way to let people get a look at who I am and we are, aside from business, but then also throwing some business facts in because people are looking for that as well. And it's really been going great. We've got lots and lots of views. We've got lots of followers. And then on top of it, it's making us get excited about video and content again.
this talks to my soul because I coach agents all the time. And, people tell me like, Veronica, you're so comfortable on video and you're this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
Yeah.
But like I said, I must, like you said, you muster up. You're like, all right, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Because
and I've been harping on my people to do it and they're not doing it. So I'm like, fine, I'm going to do it. And now they're finally doing it.
And what if you and I were sitting in, we were sitting in St. Louis. And I remember saying to you, I'm like, girl, you have so much fire in you. Because when you talk about a subject that you're passionate about, you're like getting out your And I'm like, yes, right. And then, we talk about, you've been a broker, you've been a team leader, we recruit and all this stuff. And you're like, do people know the real Kathy? And there was just something that lit up in your eyes. And I remember you were just like committed, right? You had these conversations like, I'm going to do these videos. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to lead for my people to do what I know is going to help them. And you stepped up like a leader to lead by example. And your team.
Here's another thing. I studied a little deeper into TikTok because I was still kind of like, who's going to see it type thing. And these are people all over the world. They're not going to come buy houses from us here when they live in the Philippines, that type of thing. But in reality, we're seeing a lot of business actually start to, or at least topics about, can you tell me more? I'm looking to buy a house. I'm having trouble with this. Those type of conversations are actually happening more on TikTok with a very, very small audience because I just started it a couple of months ago compared to my Facebook that I've been building since 2008. And Instagram, I have almost as many followers on TikTok in 2 months that I have on Instagram since I created it.
Wow.
And so I started realizing and studying a little bit more, talking to other people that are doing it and realizing that with the algorithms of Facebook, the same people are seeing your stuff. It's your friends. It's people that are commenting and interacting with you. So they're not likely necessarily reaching out to meet you and get more information. You're just kind of that same person that's in their face. TikTok, it's a whole new world. Like there's people that have never seen you before. They're scrolling, they see this, they like it, they share it, and then all these other people see it. And that's an audience that is more untapped.
I love that.
To be able to either recruit from or to be able to, buy and get leads for buying and selling real estate.
That TikTok audience has changed dramatically in the last year though, too, because I've been, I pay close attention to it as well. And when you're starting to see doctors and surgeons and, some of I use the example, one of our keynote speakers many years ago, one of our conventions was Dr. Amen, a brain specialist talking about, the psychology of sales in the brain. Like he's on there sharing tips and ideas and strategies. When you see that level of expertise come into that platform, the eyeballs change and the consumers change.
Right.
So it's such a smart move. And you know what? It's here now. And you keep evolving, just like Vine was here and went away, but TikTok's here. You leverage the platform, build your audience, and if it stays, you're leading the edge there.
That's right.
And I think Kathy, on what I've seen and I've witnessed of you, I get to see a side of Kathy that I feel like I didn't even know, like TikTok Kathy, like I said, but like I think the way I see your office now engaging and I see your agents engaging, has that caused the phone to ring of people saying, I want to be a part of that culture.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What you guys are doing.
For sure. I love it. Because we're also cross-promoting it over all of the channels. So you can film something on one platform, make some changes, pass it over to the other platform, and then you just start hitting all of your audiences at once. So I literally had a gentleman, and he was older, so I don't know where he saw, but he just said, the email I got was, all right, I've seen enough of your videos that I need to find out about what's going on with you and EXP. Because this was, 8 months after I'd made the switch. And so EXP, not EXP, whatever, people want to know more about that culture, and they want to know what you have that they don't, because most brokerages, especially the face of it, is not typically putting themselves out there with a queen cap on and doing a parody about how my agents must be peasants and talk to me like I'm a Yas queen because I'm so stuck up because I'm a top agent. Like, who's going to think I'm going to actually do that? But everybody loved it. They were just like giggling because they know, I've kind of heard that persona of like, oh, she's intimidating, or, she's untouchable and all these things. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm sitting in here in my office doing this silly video because I'm going to show you how I am relevant. I am down to earth, and I do care about my agents, and we're friends every day. I'm not sitting in my office with a queen cap on.
I love that. So, because we want to keep this to where people are definitely getting nuggets, right? You talked about cross promoting it. So first of all, we talked about, being able to pivot in any market, reinventing ourselves in any market. Here you have a proven testimony of someone who has been through multiple markets and is now reinventing once again, yet herself, elevating herself through social media and TikTok. You took action. It's been just a few months and your TikTok following has grown. You're cross promoting. So you'll make small little edit. You found someone that was talented in that area and you leverage them in your business. So I'm hoping people are taking takeaways from this. If they wanted to start today, Kathy, what are maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 pointers you can give them so that they can start today on TikTok?
So to start is to start. Open your phone, do a couple very easy things. Get online and do a little bit of research about trending songs and, just different things because in the app you can see what's trending, and then do some things that are just very simple till you get comfortable. Yes.
So when I'm on TikTok, right? I'm on TikTok. I'm going to get comfortable. Is there a site that I find the trending songs? This is a real life coaching session here.
Yes, but I don't have it here in front of me to walk you through it. But yes, you can go in, and then you have to dial into where it says trending. Okay. And then you can see there's a drop down of songs that are trending with different topics. So you can do that. And then you can go on YouTube and there's tutorials. Like, you can find tutorials all over the place for walking you through that. But a trending sound is a good thing to start with. Then you want to do, to me, Elizabeth was my girl. That was my TikTok inspiration. And she would bring something and I go, constantly. And I was like, but don't stop bringing it to me, because one of these times it's going to be all right. And the first couple of times it was I guess I'll do it because I've told you no 25 times. So it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I went ahead and did it. But personally, I still feel like I can't be carte blanche and do everything that everybody else is doing, because there is still a professional side that I don't want to lose, so the trending sound is good. And you can start out with simple things with not even talking, because that's the problem, is people are so afraid to see themselves on video and hear their voice on video. Sure. And they're so worried that they're going to sound stupid. They're actually, it's a two-edged sword. When you do video or social media, putting yourself out there through videos and TikToks and Reels and all that stuff, number one, you're afraid everybody's going to see it and think you're stupid. And the other side of it, you're afraid nobody's going to see it and you get no engagement, and then you're embarrassed. You got to get over that, because not every single post is going to engage with everybody. It doesn't mean they didn't see it. They just might not be commenting on it. That's okay. So the easy way to get started is to do the simple ones, like find a trending song, set your little TikTok up on your ring light, and then you start with, and then later you just get that down to where you liked you have to practice where if you're going to do a 2-person thing and you're looking at the person and pointing this way, you want to make sure the next scene isn't you're pointing the same way, because then you're both pointing that way, where you gotta be like, you're pointing at a person, then the next one you're over here and you're doing that, So those are the simple things where you just play with that a little bit and get comfortable with what does it look like when it's all spliced together, and all the editing is right there in the app. So then you can do just really simple stuff. Later come up with the words. Just get comfortable with your body and your face and the lighting. So you start with, And then you're like, huh. And then later you go, what are the 3 things that you should be doing right now to launch your real estate career? You don't say that. Those are the words. So now you take your.
Oh, no.
And I think we froze.
We
so
froze.
Jeff and I, this is where we take over and we say,
It was frozen. I know I had such a burning question for her. But that's okay. If she's frozen, technology, it's how
you
it
could
works.
ask it and then we'll bring it back. And hopefully when she comes back, we'll.
So I just want to make a point so you and I can carry this conversation, because I just really wanted to make a point, something she said that was really important. When she was talking about, the experience, everyone focuses on the consumer experience. But she made that point that saying the experience also is the other client, which is your own staff and employees and team and everything else. And that's the level of experience I think a lot of people need to focus on, because everyone's always focused on that consumer driven experience. So I wanted to make that point. That was really important. She said it, and, hopefully we'll elevate that at a different time. But, I think we need to focus on our experience in our own brands and our own offices and everything else. So,
yeah, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. So if you could see my face, but you could hear my voice.
I'll move over here. That's good. That's right. I'll go on.
But you know what I love? Yeah, I agree 100%. It's pretty interesting to know that you can't just put all the burden on the real estate school. Right. You can't put it on, all these coaches that are out there in the industry to teach your agents. You as a team leader, obviously, she took that responsibility on and she made sure she gave them a wonderful experience, which in turn grew their business. I think we got Kathy back, which is awesome.
I don't know what happened. So start little, don't overwhelm yourself. And then somebody taught me recently, just film a bunch of things and save them to your drafts for a little bit until you're comfortable, and then go back and start posting some of those. And you know what? If somebody doesn't like one of them, who cares? Do another one. And you don't, just because this was a stumbling block for me. I was trying to take everything that I did in TikTok and make sure that I repurposed it in Instagram and Facebook, because that's where my biggest audiences were at first, but not everything has to go over to the other channels. So you can take more risk with TikTok. And if you feel like you didn't love it, or it's not exactly the persona you want to put in front of your other, maybe you don't want it to go on LinkedIn, so you can pick and choose and only take some of the ones that are maybe more industry related or educational or that type of thing, and share those on some of your other platforms instead of doing it across the board.
Love that. So it's start now. Save tons of videos on your drafts. Don't be afraid to take some risk on TikTok.
And copy other people. Just change it up a little bit. We've always said in our mastermind groups, why recreate the wheel? You see something fun and cute that somebody did, do the same thing, make it your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, I see you having a lot of fun. And I think that that's probably part of the ingredient, right? You're having fun with this. My son just started a YouTube channel, and he's kind of like in this world of finding himself. And he loves music, and he always had this passion for music. And he started his YouTube channel, I think, just a couple weeks ago, and he's got already a good number of followers. But what was interesting, he said to me, I feel like he was coaching me up. He says, Mom, I want to do something that is aligned with my soul and what really makes me feel good about it. He's like, and that it's natural for me to be able to have fun with it. And music is one of those things. So now he's actually, his YouTube channel is him. I guess he does a voiceover when a new song drops and he reviews the song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's reviewing other artists' songs of like, and right. And he's got people like just tuning in because of how funny he is and how he just is so passionate about, like, let's just say one lyric that dropped. He's like, this young group, they're like, oh my God. And it's crazy how in 2 weeks of him being committed and just saying, just started and being passionate about it. He's got his whole podcast set up. Actually, he hijacked one of my podcast setups in Puerto Rico. But he's having so much fun with it. And I see a different like energy from that. And it's very similar to the energy that I see you guys putting out with TikTok. It's light, it's airy, it's believable, it's fun, it's consistent. And the one thing is he's been consistent with his video.
Right. That's the biggest thing about TikTok. You do need to be consistent and keep putting something out, because then you'll start to lose your audience if you don't have new content coming out. So that's why you do want to not make it. I was struggling at first because I wanted to make everything be, A class and a top-notch production. And we were ordering costumes and all of these things, to just like be this funny stuff. And it's like, it was taking too long to get those up and going. And it was a little bit of stress. So then Liz kept pounding me on the head and being like, just put the song, just do this. And, and I'm like, no, I want to make it, really perfect. And I really had to check myself on that and realize you do have to be consistent, or you will start losing ground with TikTok.
I love that. And by the way, Ella did check me. She's like, Veronica, they're called reaction videos. That's what you're doing, reaction videos.
Yes. Another really easy one are the voiceovers. Like that's one that you can have fun with, and you're just mouthing what some other trending voice is. And
I love those.
I did one with
I'm not a fan of that one.
Yeah,
the ones where you're mouthing.
Okay, here's my thing with those. I think, how many times do they have to practice that?
Depends on how long it is. I get them pretty good, but I did one with my first one was a Kardashian one. And it was like she was on Ellen or something. And so it was this whole back and forth conversation between Ellen and, I don't know, Khloe Kardashian or something. And so I did it and I nailed it. And I had so many people be like, gosh, you had the Kardashian voice down perfect. I'm like,
people don't know. They have no idea.
They didn't know.
Oh my God.
If you do that good, that's even better.
I have a question for you, Jeff. When are we going to get on TikTok?
I am on.
Your people are doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, in a slow pace. I wanted to see a change, which this year did change quite a bit. I wanted to see the audience shift first, because you're right. Instagram and Reels is kind of the prime. But we did some dabbling a little bit.
I have 0 videos and I have 3 followers.
But I can tell you, the stuff that I've brought over to Reels, I do get views and some engagements, but nothing like I do on TikTok. I had one video on TikTok that's had over 70,000 likes and comments and, views. And I think that same video I brought it over and crossed it over to Instagram, and it's got like a few hundred.
Wow.
It's really a big algorithm game, which most of us won't ever know how and when. But I did watch a guy that had a huge following, a huge amount of engagement, and he admitted that something changed in the algorithm, and it started to fall off dramatically. So he must have been doing something very niche specific, and he watched it drop off based on some change that is an unknown. Right?
Well, here's a big tip too, and I didn't know this at first either. Facebook doesn't like TikTok. Facebook doesn't want you getting off of Facebook. Just like when you post up now, you don't put the link in your post because it's driving people away from Facebook. So then Facebook then shuts your exposure down. Well, the same thing when you cross a TikTok video over into your other channels, you have to film it. You're better off to film it outside of TikTok and then bring those pieces into TikTok, because you don't want the watermark. The watermark of that little TikTok thing, when you put it on Instagram, it goes, no, you're promoting somebody else on our site.
That's a huge tip right there. And I hope everyone heard that, because, it used to be before TikTok, the share button, like I'm going to share my Instagram to my Facebook, and the algorithm on Facebook didn't love that because it wasn't organically uploaded.
Right.
Same thing with TikTok. So you're right. So for those who haven't heard that clearly, do your own video on your own phone or whatever it is, and then upload organically to the platform to make that algorithm see it as new, not shared. That is a very, very good tip. Very, very good.
I am so grateful that you came on and you're giving us a whole new experience, right? A whole new experience of, I would say having fun with real estate, training your agents, recruiting, showing your authenticity, and pivoting, right? And pivoting with where we're going. And you're inspiring me yet again, because I have not had I have not had the opportunity to dive into TikTok, my own limited beliefs, my own imposter syndrome, which I know a lot of people have. But you have inspired me yet again. I'm going to start this weekend. I'm going to do a video.
Good.
I'm going to hold myself accountable, and you guys are going to be able to follow me on TikTok as I start following Kathy's steps. Jeff, I'm going to follow you as well. And then we can come back and maybe give a recap as we TikTok a little bit more.
Yes.
That'd be awesome. I love it.
Anything else, Jeff, that you want to ask before we let
I got so many questions for Kathy. We'll just have to bring her back. I got other deeper questions I want to get into and stuff too, but this was awesome. This was great. Great time well spent, and hopefully a lot of nuggets. People are taking notes.
Yes.
So
One thing I want to leave you with, because you've brought it up a couple of times about pivoting and recreating yourself and that. And I am definitely the queen of doing that over the years. And I have to say, it's worked for me. I mean, it's been successful. Every move that I've made has taken me to the next step in my business. And sometimes I literally shake my head when I see agents out there say they've been with this same company or doing the same thing for 20 years or 25 years and like be bragging about it. And I get there's loyalty. I appreciate loyalty, of course, myself as a broker. But sometimes it's like, you got to shake it up and do something different every once in a while. So I don't know that that's such a placard that you want to wear, that I'm stuck in my rut for 25 or 30 years and I haven't tried anything else, because I can tell you from experience, every time I've tried something else, it's always been successful in taking me to the next chapter.
Yeah. And I think it's because it opens so many doors and you're willing to go all in and commit to it. And next thing you know, you see a completely different world. And it's the only way I know how to operate. All right, we're doing this. I'm going all in. Let's go. So be ready. I'll go all in. I'm all in with you guys.
And we have to realize change is going to happen with or without us, right? It's going to happen. Exactly. So either be part of the change and be the change, or you're going to sit and watch it happen.
You got it. You left behind.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us on another Relaunch Live, where we bring amazing speakers who help you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired. Thanks again. Relaunch Live. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play, Apple. Where else, Jeff?
Soon to be TikTok.
And then soon TikTok. Yeah.
There we go. All right, guys. Take us away, Ella. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the RELaunch Live podcast, helping you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. Find the show on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. See you